What's up, family? It's your uncle, brother, cousin, friend, John back here. So I have to do some work today. I'm trying to get the hats prepackaged for when people order. I can just put them in the bags. And I figured, why not Yap? So, of course, we know that they just revealed the new Black Panther. And so I wanted to talk about ways that I would introduce the new, I can't even talk, ways I would introduce the new Black Panther into the MCU, because it was kind of a thought that I had for a long time after Chadwick Boseman passed away. You know, it wasn't immediate, but a little while afterwards, I knew that Marvel had this potential of using him for a lot of future phases to lead and direct, especially after Robert Downey Jr. stepped down. So I was like, what would be the best ways of doing that? But before we get into that, let's take care of a little channel maintenance. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe, and you can comment down below. Yeah, so let's go ahead on and get into it. So I know I said let's go ahead on and get into it, but first of all, let's get this message right quick to Ryan Coogler, Kevin Feige, Marvel, Disney, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, Donald Duck, all of them, because I'm a little hurt. I'm a little upset. Y'all didn't call a brother and tell me you were recasting the Black Panther. You know, I was sitting here, I was waiting. You know, I was like, I gave it some time. I was waiting. Nobody told me. You know, I'm a little hurt, but you know, best ways we could be friends again. There's one character, Blue Marvel. You know, if you ever think about bringing him out, you know, I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. I'm affordable. I heard that's part of the I'm affordable, you know. We can work something out, guys. But anyway, let's go ahead on and get into it. And I'm sorry if you hear the rustling of the plastic from this. So one of the things that I have always loved about Black Panther is that they show a lot of his struggles with being king. One thing we all know about T'Challa is T'Challa has never really wanted to be a king. He didn't really like the diplomacy part of all of it. He liked being free. He liked helping. He liked serving the people, but really being king and having to be the diplomat all the time was not one of his favorite things. A lot of the time, T'Challa would find ways to run away, to go do something else, while saying, I'm still the king, but not really fulfilling the duties or having a true solid presence in Wakanda. So over time, throughout the comics, you know, different series, one of T'Challa's things was his people would always rebel against him, especially when he would step back into the mantle of King of Wakanda, not just Black Panther, because they're like, how are you going to rule over us when you've never been here? How can we accept you when you've never been here? And how do we know you remember the traditions and everything when you've been gone with outsiders doing all these different things? In T'Challa's mind, he's like, well, I've been with the Avengers saving the world on a multiversal scale, and that's how I've been helping Wakanda. But to Wakandans, they're like, but you haven't been here. And that was like one of his biggest fights, and that's something that reoccurs in a lot of his series. I think this would be very, very perfect with introducing the new Black Panther into the MCU, especially if you're going to use his son. So a little thing about the Black Panther that kind of gets skipped over in the original movie. So the Black Panther, at a young age, he gets sent out on a sabbatical where he is sent to explore all of Africa, connect with the land. So that's where he meets Storm for the first time. He has a stick in, you know, the canteen of water, and he gets sent out of the kingdom walls, and he journeys and journeys until he finds what he needs to find to say, I've truly connected. That's when he meets Storm at a young age, and then he comes back to Wakanda, but they believe that he needs to gain world experience. So then he gets sent off to college, and he gets all of these different PhDs and degrees. So yet again, he's not in Wakanda. When he finally comes back to Wakanda, you know, he takes back over his, stuff happens. He takes back over his mantle as King of Wakanda and as the Black Panther. Now, this pretty much is where the people start having a little gripe with him, because he's big on wanting to change things based on his outside experiences, but also, you know, with the hurt of his father, he doesn't want to change too much and let the outside in. But he's kind of like, you know, there's some things we do need to integrate. And this is where a lot of the rebellion starts happening in Wakanda. And they're like, oh, not only is he an outsider, but he's thinking like an outsider. and they're like, no, we don't want that. And and that is kind of his biggest fight. It's how do I, because he doesn't want to send his army or his special forces on his kingdom. He doesn't want to be a dictator, and so he's always constantly trying to find a way around that. And one of the best examples of that, and I don't know if anybody knows, but Ta-Nehisi Coates actually have been writing a lot of Black Panther comics for a while. But one of my favorite comics that he wrote was Black Panther, A Nation Under Our Feet. For those of y'all that don't know what this comic is or have never read it, a quick summary is this is around the time that Thanos attacks, looking for the Infinity Stones, looking for vibranium and all of that. And he sends T'Challa's off helping the Avengers at the time. He's not home. And I don't remember exactly. I remember he was captured at the time or just suspended somewhere to where he couldn't get back home. Basically, Shuri is left as the queen of Wakanda, and she gets, she gets trying to fight against Thanos' people. I believe they're called the Black Order or something like that. So, she gets left, and in that incident, she gets suspended between life and death. Everybody thinks she's dead, but they think she's pretty much in a coma, but closer to death. And so T'Challa then finally comes back to Wakanda. He finds out that they were invaded. A lot of people, Shuri's in a suspended state, so they're in basically like this chaos. Not only is he sad about what happened to his sister, but he also has to deal with taking back over as the king of Wakanda, like actively. But one of his biggest problems is that his people doesn't accept him. So why do I say this is a good storyline to? Well, his people doesn't accept him because of the fact that he's been gone so long. So why do I say that this is a good place to start? Because of course we know his son in the MCU was not actually raised in Wakanda, and that he was raised outside of it. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So as Black Panther's trying to take back over in the comic books, he is actually, his actual enemy is another faction of Wakandans, and they are actively gaining over the support of the Wakandan people against T'Challa as king, because they're like, he doesn't know anything, he hasn't been here, we've been invaded under his leadership, he's not a good leader. And the people are like, well, yeah, that's right, why would we want him to keep why would we want to keep supporting him? So T'Challa has this difficulty of, he still has the support of the special forces, the special task force. He still has and actually in this comic book series, he starts losing the support of the Dora Milaje, because the women in the Wakandan territory are actually being captured and abused, and the Wakandan task force and the Dora Milaje are not actually going to do anything about it, like actually helping these women out. And two of the Dora Milaje, they're like, well, we have to do something about it. Why are we not? And they're like, well, that's not our primary task right now, because their primary threat that they felt was the Wakandan that was gaining the support of the Wakandan people and actively starting to take over territory. So they weren't focused on these women, and in return, that starts losing the support of the Dora Milaje. So not only is he losing the support of the people, but he's losing the support of his personal guard, and all he has left is his special task force in the military. And so he's like, well, I don't want to sick the military out on the people, because, as a leader, that's something you never want to do. And he's also like, I don't want to be a dictator, because that's not something that I want to do either as a leader. But he needs to get the support of the people. He needs to basically get Wakanda back under control, while also dealing with his sister being in suspended animation. And so you see this difficulty of him having to figure out why his people want to accept him. He's like, well, I'm back now. They shouldn't be upset. But he starts learning. It's not the fact that he's, it's not just the fact that he's finally back and he's finally ready to take over the mantle, but it's also the fact that they feel like he's forgotten tradition, that he doesn't know the basics. He doesn't remember the heritage of Wakandan culture. So he goes through this journey of relearning everything and relearning how important the culture is, relearning how important community is, relearning how important it is to be an active and supportive leader. I think with his son being gone outside of Wakanda in the MCU, and especially potentially going to come back into Wakanda and take back over randomly, I think this is a very good storyline to follow along. The people don't trust him, they don't know him. They're like, we know you're his son, we know you have the blood, we know you are destined, we know you're the gold part of the golden tribe. But how do we know you're really Wakandan per se? How do we know you're really integrated with us? How do we know that as the leader you're really going to lead us? I think this difficulty and this struggle is a good way to really introduce the new Black Panther into the MCU, because it takes your audience along the journey of learning more about Wakandan culture. It takes your audience on more of this journey of seeing actually why he deserves the mantle. While he in the movie he's gaining the support of the people and learning to gain the support of the people and maintain that, you're also introducing your audience to gaining and learning the support of the new actor that's going to take over, and not just throwing him in the MCU and saying accept him. Another cool thing about A Nation Under Our Feet that I love is they answer the question of what do we do about Shuri? So, of course, Shuri never really wanted to be Queen of Wakanda. She was big into technology. But when she gets put in this suspended animation, you find out that she's actually journeying through the ancestral realm. So while T'Challa's having to learn about the heritage and the importance of being king, she's learning about history. She's learning about the history of Wakanda and learning about the original magic and mysticism of Wakanda. And so she's learning that technology isn't everything, that the original ways were some of the important ways. And as she comes out of that, she actually gains these magical abilities, or these abilities of mysticism that I think would be pretty cool, because I believe it's said that Marvel will be moving into a supernatural phase at some point. And I think it would be really cool to have Shuri come in and she can shapeshift and she can do all these magical things and she's gained these abilities. So she becomes like this additional counsel and support as well. So yeah, that's how I would swing the story of the new Black Panther. That's how it was resolved. What do we do about Shuri? I think I'm going to hold the book up to you, because if any of the people that actually have me sway over how the direction of the movie goes actually watches that, I'm pretty sure y'all can just go down the hallway and have Jeff print you up a copy. I had to pay for mine. So I think it's a really good book to read. And for anybody that is like, what is he talking about? It sounds like a really interesting story. I would definitely read this book, because I have to say, as a person that read this comic, I actually connected with T'Challa more. I connected with his role more. I think the only thing that's going to be difficult is the fact that Queen Ramonda is not alive in the MCU anymore. Because in the comic book, she definitely is. And I don't know. Maybe we could find out that it was a cover up and she really is alive. Who knows? Marvel could do anything. You can retcon anything. You're Marvel. Do whatever you want to. It's your movie. But again, hey, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I just been on the other side of the moon waiting on my call. Sitting with a Watu. But yeah, so that's been I appreciate all of you stuck in this long. I don't know if it was a lot of rambling or repeating, to be honest with you, because I'm like doing multiple things at one time, just trying to package up the hats, put a little refresher in there. If you all want to buy you a hat or something like that, or you can buy one of the shirts as well, you can go to princerichmond.com. I'll try to make sure to put that link in the description down below. And I'll be coming out with more videos like this soon. So yeah, stay tuned for it. And Let's get it. I actually would have did this whole video and been done with the hats by now, but so many hats, you know. I've been over here just putting them in the box, getting them ready. I don't know. I might do another video. We'll see. All right. I got to get up and click it, clack. Know that Most High God loves you. Know that I love you. Take care, fam.